Jamaica. The same thing he told the Rastafari. You gotta get yourself together. That's why Bobo Shanti came. But the problem with Bobo Shanti is they have a lot of concepts similar. It's about government. Our government here. That's why the Bobo Shantis went up into the hills on some maroon stuff. They're not of society, but they're still in this forerunner stage. Because everything is the Ethiopia International Black International Congress of Salvation. So they understood. This is beyond this. They offered the high priest of the Bobo Shanti order land in Africa. Of course, he denied it because, and his statement was, that's not ours. Nobody can give you something that's already yours. So if you take that, you're under their jurisdiction. Saying black, Negro, colored, they gave you because it's their jurisdiction. It's not even theirs. It just means you're not human. The black is a color, like, you know, it's a color. Alright, it's a color. So that's just the basics. The science of it. Our Grand Chief is gonna drop the bomb on the lives and the scene stuff. So I would like to ask you to give and welcome our Grand Chief, Subordinate Temple number 5, Ontario Territory. Welcome him with a round of applause.
Please, a round of applause for the sergeant for the history. All right. Just before we start, just to lead up to where we're going with regard to the prophet. This number is called CIK number. And if you go to US Securities and Exchange Commission website, you can just Google them and their website will come up. And there's a part that says CIK number, and you put in this number, 0000230098. That's going to tell you that Canada is a private corporation that has its office in Washington, D.C. How many citizens of Canada do we have in here? How many people have birth certificates in here from Canada? How many people have licenses, social insurance numbers? When you do your research about this, you'll find out that the Canada that we think we are citizens of is a private corporation.
Yes, sir.
And it's a private corporation owned by the U.S. If you see the commercials that they do for the wars and all that type of stuff, join the army and all that type of stuff, they never ever say American Army. They never ever say United States of America Army. They always say U.S. Army. Always. Because that army is to defend the private corporation called U.S. And U.S. is not United States. U.S. is Union States. And then if you do your research on the Union States, you'll find out about the Articles of Association. You'll find out about the Articles of Incorporation. You'll find out about the Declaration of Independence and the United States of America for Constitution. The reason why this is important is because every nation on the planet has suffered slavery. So every nation has been enslaved by another nation, everywhere on the globe. Like every nation, like no nation has not been a slave to some other nation. And the reason why the people which make up nations become slaves is because their citizenship is corporate. Everybody understand so far?
Yes, sir.
So when corporate citizens try to exercise rights, it's almost like there's no remedy for corporate citizens, because corporate citizens are artificial people. And in law, an artificial person is called a straw man. Everybody seen The Wizard of Oz? The straw man, The Wizard of Oz? Right? So, just to recap, CIK number 0000230098. Everybody heard about United States Securities and Exchange Commission. So they're legit. It's not just something I'm making up. If you go on their website and put in that number, it'll tell you that Canada is a private corporation owned by the United States, and that Canada's office is in Washington, D.C. And the logo for Canada Corporation is the maple leaf, with the two red things on the side. And anytime you try to use that, the government of Canada is going to want to sue you, because that's their private property. Corporate citizens have no rights whatsoever. They're not protected by anything. There's nobody that's going to come and help them, which is why Negroes, blacks, colored people are in the position that they're in as a victim all the time. Because their position, another law term, is stateless. And the corporation called Canada did not sign on or did not even get involved in the convention of stateless people that the United Nations had. So there was a convention called the Convention of Stateless People that everybody on the planet that's part of the UN was invited to. And Canada said they're not going to it, which tells us that they're in favor of stateless people. And if you're stateless, then you're a corporate citizen. And if you're a corporate citizen, you have no rights. So now we know why we don't get anywhere. Because we're property of this private corporation. Everybody's clear? So, that's the big jurisdiction of Canada. So when you see province of or city of, that's a private corporation. That's under the bigger corporation of the government of Canada. And to prove this, you go on a website called Dun and Bradstreet. And every corporation has to register with them. So if you go to Dun and Bradstreet and you put in any province of, city of, court of, superior court of, Ontario court of, in Dun and Bradstreet, it'll tell you that that's a private corporation.
I think it's Bradshaw.
Bradshaw? Bradstreet or Bradshaw? Check both. Dun and Bradstreet or Dun and Bradshaw? City of is a corporation, province of is a corporation. So right now, you're not in the city of Scarborough. You're in Scarborough territory. And in order to get ourselves out of this corporate status, we have to change our language. And change our language doesn't mean pick up a different language, which was our misconception about, well, why you guys speaking the English language? You need to change your language. And then we go and learn something else, but we're still dealing with these corporate principles in this other language. Because every nation on the planet suffered slavery. And there's no way out of this other than following the prophet that was sent to redeem the people from their sinful ways so that they wouldn't be subject to slavery anymore. So the purpose of correcting the black status is to get people who are, like the sergeant was saying, who are on the forerunners concept of things, to elevate themselves to a level where they look at everything from an at-law perspective. So we don't want to be vague, because law is specific. If you say identity at law, that means evidence. And evidence is made up of exhibits for your case. And if your evidence is fraudulent, or if your evidence is not right, then they're not gonna adjudicate in your favor. Just like Dred Scott. The evidence against Dred Scott is that he was Scott, saying that he was free to move from state to state, but your name's Scott. How can you be free and you look like me, but your name's Scott? It's called corporate citizenship. And the only way that you can get out of this corporate status is through proclaiming your nationality. So everybody heard about the United Nations. Everybody heard about the United Nations.
Yes.
And that the United Nations came out of the League of Nations. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The United Nations has three main declarations. The Declaration of Rights of a Child, the Declaration of Rights of Human Beings, and the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. Keep in mind that these declarations don't give you rights. And nothing that is speaking about rights gives you rights. Those things are in place to uphold the existing rights that the people automatically have when they come out of their mother.